For nearly half a century, a secret lay buried beneath the decades of silence, bureaucratic dust, and a lie so profound it rewrote history. People thought they knew the truth. They thought it was a tragic accident. They were wrong. February 2025, Heathrow Airport. 67-year-old Janice Nick thought she had outrun the calendar.
You're under arrest, okay, for the manslaughter of Andrea Bernard on the 13th of July 1978. You're also under arrest for the assault and ill treatment of Desmond Bernard between the 1st of October 1975 and the 6th of June 1978. Okay, you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention or when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. All right. Your arrest is necessary to prevent your disappearance and hinder any prosecution. All right?
She believed that with every passing year, the grave of 1978 grew deeper, safer, and untouchable. She was packing for a journey, completely unaware that justice, patient, relentless, and armed with modern police work, had finally caught up with her flight path. To understand how we ended up at the airport gate 47 years later, we have to wind the clock back to the summer of 1978, South London. A household on the surface looking like any other working class family. But behind closed doors in Thornton Heath, a reign of terror was quietly unfolding. At the centre of it was Janice Nick, a heavy-set, physically imposing stepmother who ruled her stepchildren with an iron fist, a leather belt, and a psychological torture. To Janice, the household required absolute, rigid perfection. The slightest infraction, a misfolded piece of clothing, a child stepping outside without permission, was met with vicious retribution. June 6, 1978. 5-year-old Andrea made a fatal mistake in the eyes of her stepmother. She left the house when she was told to stay, ignoring instructions to help clean. I could hear Janice shouting, "Get in the bath," and I could hear Andrea saying, "The bath is too hot, Mummy." I could hear Janice shouting, "Get in the bath, get in the bath." And then I heard screaming and splashing and then screaming, "Stop." That was Desmond's nightmare. When he ran to the bathroom, he didn't find a living sister. He found Janice cradling a limp, silent Andrea wrapped in a towel. I could see skin falling off her. Andrea suffered devastating thermal burns covering nearly 50% of her tiny body. She fought for her life in hospital for nearly 6 weeks before finally succumbing to sepsis. But how did Janice explain it? She wove a web of deceit. She claimed it was an accident, blaming faulty plumbing or a malfunctioning boiler. Back in 1978, forensic science was in its infancy, and investigators relied heavily on the word of adults in the home. Janice had a terrified 8-year-old witness cornered. Desmond was beaten regularly. Janice made him a sick promise. "If you keep your mouth shut and call it an accident, I will never hit you again." Out of self-preservation and deep psychological trauma, a young boy buried the truth. the file was stamped closed. An innocent little girl's murder was officially written off as a tragic household mishap. Decades bled into one another. Janice moved on with her life, walking the streets of London, aging into a grandmotherly figure. But trauma does not simply evaporate with time. For Desmond, the ghost of June 1978 sat at the edge of his bed every single night. Piercing screams of his sister never stopped echoing in his mind. In September 2022, an adult Desmond made a courageous, life-altering decision. He walked into a London police station and unburdened his soul. He told them the truth about what really happened behind that bathroom door. It is thanks to Desmond's incredible courage that we were able to open a fresh investigation. But investigating a homicide from nearly 50 years ago is like looking for a needle in a cosmic haystack, said Inspector Louise Cavan. The odds were stacked against the Met Police cold case homicide team. Most witnesses had passed away. Documents had vanished. But perseverance paid off. They located the original 16-page coroner's report. And inside it, they found Janice's original conflicting statement from 1978 and a complete absence of any mention of a broken boiler. When detectives questioned Janice, she tripped over her own historical lies, spinning wild stories about malfunctioning equipment that flatly contradicted her own statements from decades prior. At Isleworth Crown Court, the mask finally slipped. Jurors listened to the harrowing testimony of a brother who had carried a crushing guilt for decades. They saw through Janice's defensive tears. In May 2026, the verdict came down. Guilty of manslaughter, guilty of a child cruelty against Desmond. At 67 years old, Janice Nick was sentenced to 12 years behind bars. A woman who thought time was her greatest ally discovered too late that time is simply a witness waiting to be heard. Andrea Bernard only lived 5 short years. For nearly half a century, her name was a footnote of a forgotten tragedy. But thanks to a brother's refusal to let her memory fade into the dark, the truth found the light. And justice, though it walked slowly, never stopped marching. If you found this story interesting, please like and subscribe and share my channel. Thank you so much for watching.